Back to back to back.
And let me tell you, he didn't flinch an eyelash when he was asked to fight Ruslan Provodnikov. So, Ruslan has come from a 4-round fighter. My first 4-rounder I've had him since the beginning of his career. Fought Bradley when nobody thought he could win. Gave him life or death. Comes out here to Denver. Great place, great city, great people. They were all very nice to us. Commissioner Joe Mason was unbelievable. And he beat the hometown boy. And it was just a terrific night. And it was good for sports. It was good for our sport. A lot of people have a lot of things to say about our sport. It was good for boxing. It was a great fight. And I told Alvarado in the ring, Michael, I appreciate him giving the kid a chance. If he wants a rematch, we'll work out a deal.
That's outstanding. Artie, class act, brother. Thank you.
Thank you.
Artie, you said you had him, since the beginning.
Yeah.
For you personally, how exciting was that when you saw the fight stop?
It's unbelievable. It's 5.5 years, bringing him from Russia, Siberia, back and forth. When he lost the Herrera fight on ESPN, most of the guys who know me, I went to have 2 martinis. It was a bad night. Now, but we got through that, bringing him back. In the old days, fighters didn't lose one fight; they lost 3 or 4, but they were still fighters. So it wasn't the issue that he lost; it was a setback. Not that it was going to be detrimental overall. So what we did was we just kept bringing them back. And, one thing my mother always said, she preferred her children to be more lucky than smart. Freddie needs somebody to spar with Manny, arms and a James. Ruslan's given Manny life and death. He says, Artie, where'd you find this kid? I said, in Siberia. I said, that's how we got the opportunity. And one thing leads to another. Then Ruslan had to do what he had to do and gave Bradley the fight of his life. What happened is every fighter must win a fight they're not supposed to win. And Provodnikov did that. You want to be a star, you're supposed to win a fight you're not supposed to win. And Ruslan, we thought he did that with Bradley. Even though he lost the decision, we thought he won. But then he came here in front of 7,000 or 8,000 of Mike's fans. And first time Mike was ever down, I'm told it was the first time he was ever down in his career, as an amateur or pro. And he went down twice. So the answer to your question is a long, drawn-out Italian answer. I'm very happy. It was 5.5 years. And now on to bigger and better things for the kid.
What's next for him?
Dinner. I'm his mom. And then, I don't know, I'll sit down and figure this out.
It seems like a Bradley rematch.
Oh, that would be lovely. That would be very lovely. Pacquiao would be lovely. Bradley, Marquez. That's the fight.
Would they fight Pacquiao, though, because they train together? And
I believe that could be worked out.
Yeah?
Well, it's called the arrangements of, working things out. Yes, ma'am.
Artie, one last question. I'm sorry. How did your relationship with Bob Arum actually, because you seem to have a great working relationship with Top Rank at HBO.
Well, I know him for 30 years. When I first got my promoter's license, I was 32 years old, and it was in Las Vegas, and my first fight was at Bally's. At the time that I got my license, he calls me up, and he says, come on, I want to take you out to dinner. That's the biggest promoter in the world then, 30-some-odd years ago. And we went out to dinner, we went out to a fight, and I've known him all. Everybody, if you're reasonable, you can work with anybody, and you have to see their side of the table, and then you see your own, and somewhere in the middle you'll meet. And if you're not reasonable, the worst thing you could do in any business is get crazy, fight with an ego, or that it's your way or no other way. That's not how it works in life.
Yeah.
So at Arum, I've known him for 30 years, and I learned a lot from Arum. I got no problem. I learned from King. I learned to be sharp with King. I learned a lot. But you have to be reasonable in life. Yeah. And you have to be reasonable.
So do you prefer working with Top Rank, or is Golden Boy to have Danny Garcia, those options?
Loaded question. I love loaded questions right after a big fight. Loaded question.
But is it an option?
The options are that we are fighting on HBO.
Okay.
Right? And we like being on HBO, and he gave us an opportunity. And I have no opportunities on Showtime with Ruslan.
Okay.
So the honest answer is that there is Manny Pacquiao, there is Marquez, there's Bradley, there's Rios, there's Mike Alvarado. It's like when during the 70s and the 80s when Leonard and Hearns and Duran and Hagler and Roldan were all around at the same time, they're all fighting each other. Well, these men happen to be on HBO. And that's where we're at.
Yeah, and they're all making great fights.
Yeah, the losers make good fights. We lost the last fight. Right? We lost the last fight. Now, whatever fight he comes in now.
Even a Marquez, he just lost. That would make a great fight, too.
It would be a terrific fight. And you never know how it plays out. But when you have very good athletes willing to fight, then you'll fight them in a pool of different fights. There's no loser. We weren't a loser when we lost to Bradley. Now we get Mike Alvarado. Mike Alvarado lost to us. He'll get somebody else. So he'll either get us, he'll get Marquez,
No
he'll get
shame.
Bradley.
No
They're
shame.
wars.
Yep.
They're wars.
That's right. I asked you this question before the fight, but now that you have this feeling of euphoria, I'm going to ask you again. See if
I'm not crazy and I'm not drunk.
No. Salgado, Ruslan, Vera is Andrej next on November 9th.
I hope so. Demetrius is in a tough fight with Martirosyan, but we think we could win the fight. Demetrius is in the mix at HBO as well. Right. At 154 and 60, and you have, I know Martinez is looking to fight Cotto, and you got Gennady Golovkin out there. I mean, Demetrius could fight at 54 or 60, so there's a lot of fights for him at both weight classes. But he has to beat a very good fighter.
Yeah.
And this is his fight that he has to win. And another guy, by the way, was built on ESPN.
Right.
That's right.
Another guy who was built on ESPN. And that's not a downside, that's a good thing.
Yep. Yep.
The reason why HBO has made a deal with ESPN for their pay-per-view events because they have 10, 11 platforms. And with all their platforms, they can advertise and promote their HBO pay-per-view boxing events to a larger audience that would not normally see it just on their own platform.
That's right.
So they get it. And that's the reason why they made that move down. ESPN covers the weigh-ins and they advertise and promote during all their games.
So, Artie, do you feel that with all of these great wars that the networks are pretty much, really investing in, do you feel that boxing is on its way to becoming a mainstream commodity again?
Boxing is the number 2 sport in the world, some type of combat sport. In the United States, the premier sport is American football.
Yeah.
But boxing is the highest pay-per-view sport anywhere in the world,
That's right.
whether it's a UFC or MMA or anything else. So good fights like this only helps the industry.
That's right.
And the right outcome with the officials only helps the industry. It's all good things. So I don't have all those kind of answers, but good fights and good decisions is good.
Can't hurt.
Do you believe the industry was struggling?
Oh, thanks, buddy. Oh, yeah. I'll call you tomorrow. No, not tomorrow. I'll call you Monday before I go to
They just
lunch.
don't get the mainstream exposure, that's all.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Hey, Artie, do you think it's like we have 2 leagues now, like the Showtime Golden Boy League,
Hey,
and then
you
the
know
Top
what?
Rank and everybody else HBO League?
I don't think having competitive networks vying for the best fights is a bad thing.
That's a great thing for the consumer.
I think it's a good thing for the consumer and for the athletes, and also for the promoters and the managers and the trainers and the cutmen and the conditioning people, because there's more people out there trying to make fights.
Well, there's only one pie of money, and Showtime is tripled how much they used to spend on fights. It's going to Golden Boy, but that leaves more money at HBO for everybody else.
Well, they all have their own network of revenue. I mean, there's not more than one pie.
Right, but you know what I mean? The pie has increased, I guess, is a better... because of the
you
money
mean on
they're
one
spending.
network,
Right.
on the Showtime network.
But because those fighters aren't on HBO, there's leftover money that would have...
I have no idea about that.
You know what I mean, though?
No, I actually don't know. What I do know is that each of the networks have a budget, whether it's ESPN or Univision or Fox 1 or Showtime, whatever level of events that they're putting on, whether it's boxing or soccer or anything else, that's their budget. Now, if HBO's budget is X and Showtime's budget is Y, I mean, that's something their executives decide on.
But just more money in total is better for everybody involved in boxing. Is what
As long as there's competing networks, that's what's better.
Okay.
That's what's better.
Hey, Artie, what about, because you remember, man, you're a big sports fan, AFL, NFL. Football went through this, man, a long deal several decades ago, and they met up for a Super Bowl. Why can't we do the same thing, man, in boxing?
I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. I guess we can in time. Right now, but an hour after, I just won a very big fight.
Solve all boxing problems right now.
So right now, I can't. I don't know what else the answer would be.
Leonardo DiCaprio,
Thanks,
king of the
Artie.
world, brother.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.